what the F just happened? Like, clearly she's dead if she got zipped up and taken away, and we can see this through our window. Warning. This video will contain mention of disturbing content as well as a real-life homicide. Viewer discretion is advised. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for clicking on this video. Please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. It really does help motivate me to make more content just like this. So I've been wanting to make this haunted house video for a while now, but honestly, I was just kind of like creeped out of sitting down and writing out all the events that happened to me and reliving some of the traumatic experiences I went through in that house. But in saying all that, I was watching some other haunted house stories on YouTube recently, and I was like, you know what, I really need to share mine because so many people go through this, so many people experience similar situations, and as creepy as it is and disturbing as it is, it's interesting to hear the things that happen in other people's lives, right? I mean, that's why I click on other videos, is I'm curious, and as creeped out as I am, I'm interested. So here's my story. Everything's true. Let's get started. So this haunted house takes place in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada around 2011-2012-ish. And it all started because my boyfriend and I were looking for a place to move into that was better than the place we were at, a better area, whatever. So he's on Kijiji, which is like Craigslist, looking at places, and he calls me while I was at work, super excited about this place he found and telling me I just have to check it out. So my bestie and I, after work, we go and we check out the place, and he was right. Like, it was an amazing place. I almost didn't even believe him because it's 2-bedroom, 1.5 bathroom, upstairs, downstairs, basement, washer, dryer. Utilities were not that much, and it was less than the place we were already at. Way better area, way bigger. It was just too good to be true. Even my bestie was like, you need to sign this lease, like someone else is gonna take it. Even the landlord was super nice. My last landlord was super creepy, but that's a story for a different day. Anyway, we signed the lease and we're super excited. I couldn't be more happy to get out of the place that we were at and to start this new adventure in this new place that just seemed too good to be true. Needless to say, we got a U-Haul, I called my friends, and we packed up our stuff and we moved into the new place. I also just want to say that the pictures that I'm using, they're off Google. None of the pictures that I'm using are actual pictures of events or people or anything that took place, except for the picture of the house. The picture of the house is the actual house that I lived in, the actual haunted house. For whatever reason, none of my pictures saved from my old phones from when I lived in the house back then. So are you ready? This is the house. I was going to leave the address, but I don't think I should because I don't want people like going there and checking it out and bugging whoever lives there now. I know it looks like a whatever house, but it's way cuter on the inside. Real hardwood floors, super huge rooms, really nice bathrooms. I'm sure they've renovated since, but it was super cute, especially for the price we were paying, the price of a bachelor for this place. Like, it was unreal. So anyway, back to the story. I'll show the house again a little later when we get into the video. Anyway, so the first couple days I spent unpacking. My boyfriend at the time was like super talkative and super nice and was just like a real extroverted people's person. He talked to the person that lived in the adjoining side-by-side, which was a single mom, and I think it was 2 kids she had. Anyway, they were super sweet. Everything was nice. I was just enjoying like unpacking. He had 3 kids at the time, my boyfriend, so he was gone a lot, and I would have my friend over after work, and her and I would watch movies, hang out. The area was super cute. This is a real photo of the area from like sky view, obviously. And again, I blurred out the area just because I don't need people like harassing anyone who lives there. But yeah, it was a cute area, super quiet, super calm, by the river. I don't know what else I can really say about it. It was a super awesome area, super quiet. Everyone was peaceful and chill. I never heard sirens in that area. Family friendly. It was great. Everything was awesome until this one night. So, like I said before, my boyfriend at the time, not now, I'm single now, but my boyfriend at the time had a job and kids, so he was gone a lot of the time, and I worked nights, so I wasn't really home until like 11:30 at night, 12 o'clock, and sometimes my bestie would come with me back home, and we would hang out, watch a movie, she'd help me unpack, whatever. And this one night, she came home with me and we were downstairs in the basement doing laundry, and it was an unfinished basement, but it was pretty big, and I hadn't really gotten to like anything down there yet. I was just going down there to do laundry and going back up because basements are creepy to begin with. And she's like, "Oh, what is this room back here?" And I'm like, "I don't know, I haven't really checked it out." And she flicks on the light and she's like, "Oh my god, you have to come here." And I'm like, what are you talking about?" And I go into the room, and I'm like, I kid you not, I'm not lying, you guys. There was crayon drawings all over the wall, and it was this small little square room, like maybe just enough for a bed and a dresser. This tiny little room with all these creepy drawings all over the walls, like a little kid drew them, but a scary horror movie little kid with like disturbing problems drew them. And she's like, "Do you think somebody who lived here before trapped their kid in this room when like they were bad or something?" And I was like, "I don't even want to think about that. Like, why would you even say that?" And she's like, "I don't know, like that's what it looks like." And I was like, "Okay, I have to sleep here. Like, thanks a lot. You better be spending the night." And it just freaked me out so much. And when she ended up going home, I called my boyfriend. I was like, "Did you see this room before?" And he's like, "No." So he comes home and he takes a look at the room and he's like, "Honestly, this is so creepy. It totally looks like some weird shit happened in here. And I'm just getting weird vibes. Like, I don't like this room. We'll burn some sage and like we'll cleanse the house and we'll figure it out tomorrow." So we just kind of like shut the light off and tried to forget about it and go to bed. So I try to shake it off and just tell myself, like, "You're overreacting. It's fine. Go to sleep." Until I drift off and I start having this horrific dream that there's some type of like shadowy figure coming from the basement and it's calling me. Like, not actually calling me, but I feel the need to go down into the basement. Like, I just feel like it's pulling me down there in my dream, of course. And I'm so terrified in my dream, and I just feel this dark presence, not good, horrific, and I wake up in a panic, and my boyfriend's like, "Are you okay? Did you just have a bad dream? Because I just had a super messed up dream." And he starts telling me about this dream that's pretty much identical to the dream I just had without even telling him what my dream was. And then we're both equally creeped out, and we're like, "Okay, like, before we start jumping into this being like a whole thing, let's just go down there and sage the place and like wipe down the walls with a magic eraser and not think too much into it, because maybe we were just creeping ourselves out by telling ourselves like, oh, it seems like there was a kid that was trapped in this room or something." Like, we kind of made this big whole story in our heads the night before and creeped ourselves out, right? So we're like, you know what, we're just going to get over it and we're just going to go on with our lives and continue unpacking and whatever. So that's what we do. And I'm home by myself this one day and I'm unpacking and I get all hot and whatever. So I'm like, I'm going to go have a shower. I turn on the shower, do my usual thing. I go to rinse my hair and like close my eyes and rinse the conditioner out of my hair. And I have this vision while my eyes are closed that I'm covered in blood, like literally covered in blood. Of course, I open my eyes and there's nothing. It's just the shower. And I'm creeped out. I'm sitting there thinking, like, why did I just have that thought? I close my eyes again to continue rinsing my hair. And again, I just see myself covered in blood to the point where I'm disgusted. I turn off the shower and I call my boyfriend and I'm like, I keep having this like thought every time I shower. And he's like, "Oh, maybe just go meditate and like write it off. We're just gonna not think about it. It was a thought, let it go." Then he comes home the next day and he tells me he was talking to the neighbor lady and she was telling him that her two kids were telling her every time they turn on the taps in the bathroom, they see blood, and they're little kids and they're like, "Oh, mommy, I see blood." And he got all creeped out and she's like, "What?" He's like, "Oh, my girlfriend just told me yesterday that when she took a shower, she envisioned herself with blood running down her body." And then she's like, no, are you serious? And she started telling him just a couple little stories about her kids and what they saw in the house. And I don't remember what those stories are now, but it was creepy. About a week or two after that conversation she had with my boyfriend, she ended up packing up her kids and moving out. And when he asked her why she was leaving, she said that she believed the house was haunted and she wasn't going to stay there any longer and put her kids through that. It was too creepy. They weren't sleeping at night and she had to go. And I totally get it. Especially now as a mother, I totally get it. Anyway, after she moved out, this new family moved in, a husband, a wife, and their teenage son. They seemed pretty polite, nice, kept to themselves, they were private, they were chill. Anyways, a couple little incidents here and there would happen, like the mouthwash bottle flying out of the bathroom, hitting the wall in the hallway. My boyfriend was like, what was that? Came upstairs, saw it in the hallway. We would just kind of like pick it up, ignore it. This other day, the toothbrush holder, which was made out of clay or porcelain or something, flew across the bathroom, hit the wall by the tub, and smashed everywhere into the tub, which would have been impossible unless you were standing in the washroom and did that. So I just kind of like cleaned it up and ignored it and just moved on. And some days were great. Some days felt beautiful and peaceful and calm in that house. And other days just felt dark. And I noticed a change in my boyfriend. He started to just become distant. He wanted to be at his desk in the living room all the time with the curtain shut and the room dark. And we didn't really talk much. He kind of kept to himself, or he would be out with his friends, just gone away from the house. And just his vibe felt different. I can't explain it, just his vibe was different. This one night he had left and he was out with his friends and I was home by myself. I decided to meditate, and right when I lit the last candle on my little area where I meditate, and I always say peace, love, positivity, harmony, everything else is dismissed. I always say that just to like set the intention that my goal is to clear my mind and positive vibes only. You get it. Anyway, as soon as I had said that, this bong that I had, this beautiful glass bong with this painted dragon on it, flew off my dresser and smashed all over the floor. And it scared the heck out of me. Like, I stood over it for a minute and just stared at it because I was so creeped out. I swept it up. I threw it in the garbage. I was like, this is not stopping me from doing my meditation. So I meditated. I felt great. I went to bed. I woke up. And I know this sounds messed up and people probably aren't going to believe me and I don't know what to tell you. But like, you know those little red laser dot things that you play with your cat with on the floor? One of those was on me. And I know it sounds far-fetched. I know it does. But it was on me. And I woke up and I was like, and I'm like looking around and then I could see it like go across my bedroom and then kind of go away. And then as soon as I sat up, because I had, I guess, made a sound and my window was open and I was like, what was that? And Bear was right beside me, my dog. And he starts growling. And all of a sudden I can hear this voice, a man's voice, go, we know you're in there. Come outside. I was like, what the fuck? And so I kind of go and I sneak around by my curtain so I can kind of see outside. And I can see this unmarked, it looks like an unmarked cop car, but I don't see anybody. I just see this unmarked cop car. Then all of a sudden, we had a side door and we had a back door, and someone just started banging down both doors, like banging on the doors like crazy and screaming and yelling and ringing the doorbell. Like, I'm honestly shaking just talking about it. I was so scared. And my dog, thank God for my dog, rest in peace, Bear, I love you. Thank God for my dog. He was going crazy, like scratching the heck out of both doors. He would run back and forth from door to door. Sorry, my video cut out for a sec. Anyway, he would run back and forth from door to door, freaking out, barking, growling, scratching down the doors like he left claw marks in the doors, freaking out. And I was bawling. I locked myself in the bathroom upstairs. I had a bat. I called my boyfriend. I was hysterically crying. I was like, oh my God, you have to come home. Someone's trying to break into the house. I don't know what's going on. Like, he couldn't even understand me through tears. And I'm like, I'm not getting off the phone with you. And he's like, you have to get off the phone with me. Call 911. Like, what if someone's trying to actually break in? Call 911. And I was like, no, just stay on the phone with me. Come home, come home, come home. and he told me he was about a block away, and then all of a sudden the banging stopped and it got quiet other than my dog growling, and he ended up coming home with his friend, and they were looking around the house, and you could see that both the handles on the screen doors were busted off, and there was kick prints in the doors, like someone was trying to kick the door in, and both of the screen doors handles were completely busted off. So he came in the house and he hugged me and he's like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" He's like, "At first I thought you were just calling me and making up a story for attention because things have been kind of weird with us lately and I've been kind of distant, so I thought you were making this up for attention. So did my friend." And honestly, that's kind of messed up that he even said that, but whatever. Then he comes in and is like, "Oh my God, obviously we see someone was here." So I called the police anyways, just to make a report and make sure it wasn't them. And he was like, usually the cops would leave a card in the mail if it was them and if they were going to come in the house. First of all, we have no reason for them to come in the house, but they would just have a warrant and kick down the door regardless. So it makes no sense. And when I called the police, they said it wasn't them. Someone came down and we don't really know what happened. And still from this day forward, nobody knows what happened. My neighbors didn't see anything. Nobody saw anything. So I don't know if it was I don't want to say it was a ghost thing because that sounds ridiculous, but even more scary, in my opinion, when I really started thinking about it to make this video, I'm wondering if it was those people who kidnap women to sex traffic. They sometimes will dress up like police officers, and maybe someone knew I was home alone or had been following me and knew it was just me by myself and realized my neighbors weren't home and thought they were going to get in the house and kidnap me, but my boyfriend just happened to come home. I don't know. But to this day, it still gives me chills and freaks me out and will forever be the reason why I will never answer the door. If someone I know is coming over, they will text me or call me. I will always have a dog and keep my doors locked no matter what time of day it is. It disturbed me so much. And this probably happened, I want to say, around 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night. It was on a day I had off. After that, I just kind of tried to move forward as best I could and heal from the situation. It really did scare me, especially not knowing what actually happened. My boyfriend started to stay home more, especially at night, because I was so traumatized after that for quite a while. Things kind of got back to normal though, and I got back into my normal routine, and everything kind of chilled out and seemed like a regular house for the next couple of weeks/months. Not a lot really happened. Then this one night, I was home alone and I went to bed early. Everything was fine. I felt nothing weird before I went to bed. And then I had this super messed up dream, even more messed up than the first one I had about the little girl in the basement or whatever. I had this dream that I was laying in my bed exactly how I was. Everything was exactly how it was in real life. And that something was calling me by name in my kitchen. That it was just calling me. And in my dream, I had no choice. I just got out of bed like a zombie, like I was sleepwalking almost. And in my dream, I got out of bed. I walked down the stairs, eyes closed. Everything was completely dark. And I walked into the kitchen and this thing was calling my name. And I stood in the middle of the kitchen, just sleepwalking in my dream. And then this dark, shadowy figure just kind of swirled around me and not engulfed me, but was trying to intimidate me, I want to say, and just kept swirling around me and saying my name over and over and over. And then in my dream, it started to choke me. And the feeling just felt so intense and so real and so terrifying that I guess for whatever reason in real life, I had grabbed my bed frame and I was smacking my hand against the wall, screaming, "Stop it, stop it." I'm pretty sure I was saying stop it, or I was cursing, one of the two. And I was actually like banging my hand against the wall in real life, to the point that it woke me up because my dog was going crazy, barking and growling and like jumping at the bed, like almost pushing me because I was screaming F you and stop it while I was hitting the wall. And I woke up and I almost could feel the sensation that somebody had been choking me. And I just sat up and I started bawling and my heart was racing. And then that night I ended up getting this crazy fever and these horrible stomach pains. So I don't know, I don't want to say the dream per se was because of the house being haunted, or if it was just like a pre-fever dream. You know how messed up fever dreams can be. So I don't want to be like saying that it was because of the house, but after that dream, I had a crazy fever and I was sick for like 2 weeks. So after all of that happened, my boyfriend had started kind of talking to the neighbors in the area on the same street, same block as us, and found out that all of them pretty much had experienced some type of paranormal activity in their own houses. Our neighbor directly behind us said that sometimes in the middle of the night, dishes would go flying out his window, his cupboards would slam, his lights would flicker on and off, and everyone in the area had just kind of like accepted the area was haunted. They're all super old army houses, and we just don't really know what happened in them. So, after that comes the story about my neighbor who unalived his wife while we were home one night. So it was New Year's Eve. It must have been 2011, going into 2012. And anyway, my boyfriend and I were home. We weren't like huge on partying for New Year's Eve. Usually we would like watch a movie together, have dinner together. We would like write out our goal list for the next year, maybe have a glass of wine or champagne and then go to bed. Nothing crazy. And I usually worked New Year's Day early in the morning at my job. Anyway, so this one night, New Year's Eve, we're just doing our thing and we decided that we're going to go to bed. It was probably just after 12, and our neighbors on the adjoined side by side, they had a lot of loud music playing and they were doing their own thing. From what we could see, they didn't have any people over as far as like cars being parked in the back, but they had loud music playing and whatever. It's New Year's Eve, do your thing. And then we can hear some arguing and yelling, and then we hear this loud bang, like someone fell down the stairs. And we're like, oh, that's weird. And then within like an hour, an ambulance arrives and a stretcher goes out of the house and a body bag is zipped up and taken away. And it's just the husband and the son standing there, just looking disturbed, obviously. And so my boyfriend and I are like, what the F just happened? Like, clearly she's dead if she got zipped up and taken away. And we can see this through our window. And then the next day I had to go to work at like 6 in the morning. And he was at home. And then I get this call at work and I had to go into the office to take it. And it's my boyfriend telling me that CSI people were at our house questioning him about what we heard. And he's just like, I don't know, we heard a bang and that was it. And they told him that she fell down the stairs and had died, and if we knew anything about it, and left a card and everything. And yeah, it was like really disturbing. And so for the next like couple of days, it was really awkward. The husband didn't really come out or say anything. And then this one night, maybe like 5 days later, my boyfriend and I and his friend were in the back and we were having a bonfire, like a winter bonfire. And he comes outside and he's like hysterically yelling, like, I didn't kill my wife. I don't know what you guys are thinking, but I didn't do it. I didn't do it. It wasn't me. It was an accident. And then my boyfriend just looked at him and was like, okay, man, go inside. Like, nobody's saying you did anything. We believe you. Like, it's not our business. Go inside. And yeah, he went inside and that was that. Maybe like a week after that happened, we see him with a brand new BMW. He has this brand new suit on. He's looking sharp every time he leaves the house, looking good. And then by the end of the month, he had packed up his things and his kid, and they moved out with their brand new car and his new look. He looked like a completely different guy. I don't know like what happened for real to this day. Obviously, she is not alive anymore, and that's sad. But I don't know if it was like an on purpose thing to get money or life insurance, or I don't know. But it's just really disturbing, and it will forever disturb me that I was there when it happened, amongst all the other things that happened in like the year or so that we lived there. Anyway, after that happened, another family moved in, a guy and his wife, and they were just super creepy. They were kind of like, I don't even know. I can't even explain it. They were just giving like hillbilly vibes and really impolite and creepy, and I was just over it at that point. I couldn't take any more weirdness. It wasn't worth the cheap rents. And we packed up and we ended up staying with my boyfriend's friend at the time that lived in this tiny little place in not the best area. But even though we were living in not as nice of a place as that place was, and it was honestly more expensive, I could sleep at night and it was totally worth it. So at the end of the day, nothing can buy you peace. So no matter how cheap the rent is or whatever the circumstances are, if it is not a peaceful place that you're going home to, it is not worth it. And I truly learned that when I was living at that place. And it's so funny because sometimes when I'm like just looking at apartments for fun or in case I've had to move, I pretty much always see that place on a listing. That landlord cannot keep somebody there. And I know exactly why. And I've even thought a couple times before, like, oh, maybe it wouldn't be that bad. It's not that expensive to stay there, and they've renovated and blah, blah, blah. But no, I'm always like, yeah, no. I just think about all the crap that happened there and how much it's not worth it. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of this video. Please give it a thumbs up. It really does help me. Please subscribe to the channel. Comment if you liked it. Tell me your scary, paranormal, haunted house stories. You can even email them to me if you want, and I can read them for you on my YouTube channel. Whatever you guys want to do. Please let me know if you like this content, if you want more story times, more paranormal experiences, etc. Thank you.